Okay, so Tati Westbrook, you probably at least know of her.
Yeah, even if you...
Right.
Yeah.
Maybe you're someone who was really into makeup tutorials and you used to like blend along to her videos back when she was the glam life guru.
Yeah. Those were the days.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
Or maybe you just can't escape, the drama that seems to kind of follow her. It's like it's unavoidable, right? Like it's everywhere. So whatever your level of familiarity is with her, today we're doing a little more than just like a recap of the headlines, right?
Right.
We want to kind of unpack why her story is such a fascinating case study, I think, in trust, influence, and just kind of the wild world of YouTube beauty in general.
Yeah, it really is. It's interesting. I think when you think about Tati's rise, it really mirrors the evolution of YouTube itself.
Oh, interesting.
You think back to the early 2010s, the platform, it was still kind of finding its footing, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like beauty gurus were, they were just beginning to sort of emerge. It was a very different time.
So what made Tati stand out? Like what was it about her in that early YouTube landscape that made her different? Because it wasn't just like she knew how to apply eyeshadow.
Right. No, definitely not.
Right.
I think it was this combination of her approach and just the evolving platform itself, The algorithm on YouTube was starting to favor longer, more polished content. Tati was kind of ahead of that curve.
I see.
She had a professional setup, that calming voice, and she went beyond just like surface level reviews. I mean, she dove deep into ingredients, application techniques. She was really catering to an audience that like was hungry for that deeper knowledge.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. So she was providing value beyond just the entertainment, right? It's like almost, like a trusted friend giving advice, that sort of vibe.
Exactly. It was like she cultivated this persona of like the reliable expert. Think about it.
Yeah.
There's a certain vulnerability in admitting you don't know something, right?
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to beauty. A lot of people, especially back then, were really felt really unsure about, different products and techniques.
Yeah.
And she tapped into that and she positioned herself as like the person you could turn to, the person you could trust for these like honest, unbiased recommendations.
And I think too, like it was before the influencer marketing boom, really.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
It was before.
It was different.
Yeah, it was a different time, right?
Yeah.
So there was this sense that like she was genuinely recommending products that she just like believed in. It wasn't like
she loved.
Yeah, she loved them, not just like what she was being paid to like push or whatever.
Exactly. It wasn't sponsored content every video. It was really like, these are my holy grails. This is what I genuinely use and recommend. Yeah. And people really like latched onto that.
Yeah.
That was a major part of her appeal, I think, was that authenticity, because viewers felt like, okay, I can trust her judgment,
Right.
She's not just trying to like, sell me something.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And her recommendations, I mean, they had a real impact.
Oh, yeah.
And she could introduce millions of people to like a smaller brand overnight.
Oh, wow.
I mean, it was like she had the Midas touch, but like for makeup.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay. So she's like building this empire of trust.
Right.
Her audience is just like exploding, it seems like.
Right.
And she's clearly savvy about the business side of YouTube, but like, She doesn't stop there, right?
No, but she doesn't stop there. She takes that influence and parlays it into her own ventures, right?
Yeah.
Halo Beauty, which was her line of wellness supplements.
Okay.
And then later, Tati Beauty, her own makeup line. So she was leveraging her platform to become a businesswoman, which, was a brilliant move. She basically created her own ecosystem within the beauty space.
Right. So we've got this really compelling narrative, right?
Yeah.
Of like a woman building a business, growing an audience, and really like understanding how to navigate the world of online influence. And there's always a but, right?
There's always a but, isn't there?
Yeah, there is. This wouldn't be, a deep dive without some serious drama.
Oh, you're telling me.
Right.
And what's fascinating is how this drama, like, really exposes the underbelly of the beauty community, right?
Yeah.
The fierce competition, the shifting alliances, and the potential for just, like, spectacular downfall. I mean, it really is a classic rise and fall story, but, like, with a very distinctly digital twist.
Totally, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay, so we've established like Tati's rise to success, her influence, business savvy.
Yeah.
But you mentioned a downfall.
Yeah.
Where does that all begin?
It all really centers around this video in 2019 called Bye Sister.
Okay.
It was basically like a 43-minute call-out video directed at another beauty influencer, James Charles.
Okay.
And it sent shockwaves. I mean, like literally shockwaves through the entire like YouTube ecosystem. It was huge.
So for those of us who like maybe missed that particular chapter of YouTube history, like what was the core issue?
So on the surface, it seemed like it was all about James Charles promoting a competitor to Tati's supplement brand.
Okay.
Halo Beauty.
Okay.
Right.
Right.
But the video, I mean, it went so much deeper than like just a simple business dispute. You know,
Yeah.
Tati accused James of like disloyalty, of predatory behavior towards straight men, and of like manipulating people for personal gain.
Wow. Those are some heavy accusations.
Yeah, they're big.
It sounds like it tapped into like some deeper anxieties within like the beauty community.
Oh, absolutely.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, it became this lightning rod for all these discussions about like power dynamics and like parasocial relationships.
Yeah.
And like the ethics of influencer culture as a whole. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because remember, Tati had built her entire brand on trust and authenticity.
Right. Right.
And this video was her saying, like, this is not okay.
Right.
And it resonated. It resonated with a lot of people.
Right. Right. And the internet, being the internet, I'm guessing it didn't just like, sit back and observe all this unfold quietly.
Oh my God, no.
Oh.
It was a digital war. I mean, it was like all out. James Charles lost millions of subscribers. I mean, it was insane. Jeffree Star and Shane Dawson, who are like controversial figures themselves,
Yeah.
got involved. And that just like added fuel to the fire. I
Right.
mean, it was like the YouTube drama of the decade.
Right.
Everybody picking sides, dissecting every tweet, every comment, like, screenshots flying everywhere. It was madness.
I remember it was like inescapable, even outside of like the beauty community.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Like it really felt like the algorithm just like ate it up.
Oh, for sure. For sure. It really highlighted YouTube's role in amplifying this kind of content.
Yeah.
Like the algorithm's designed to keep us clicking, right?
Yeah.
And it often rewards, that kind of drama and conflict, unfortunately.
Right.
And YouTube itself was facing a lot of criticism at the time for, not doing enough to curb harassment and misinformation and all that.
Right.
So they were kind of forced to take a closer look at their policies because of this whole thing.
Yeah. So not only was this like a personal drama for those involved,
Right.
but it also became like this larger conversation about platform responsibility.
Yeah.
And like the dark side of online fame in a way,
Right, exactly. It was
Right.
like it exposed that whole underbelly. And Tati, I mean, she faced an intense backlash too. You know what I mean?
Really?
Yeah, some people felt like she overreacted or exploited the situation. It wasn't like a clear-cut good guy, bad guy scenario. You know what I mean?
Right.
It was very messy, as these things often are.
Yeah.
And it just showed like how quickly narratives can shift in the digital age, right?
Right.
Like one day you're the hero, the next day you're the villain.
Yeah. Yeah. So after this like very public, very messy fallout, what happens next? Like, does Tati just disappear from like the online world completely?
Not exactly. She takes a step back,
Dang.
She deals with legal battles over Halo Beauty. She shuts down Tati Beauty.
Oh, wow.
It's a period of retreat, of reevaluation,
Yeah.
But then in 2020, she comes back with another video.
Yeah.
And this one flips the script entirely.
Ooh, okay. This is where things get really interesting.
Yeah.
Tell me everything.
So in this new video, she claims that she was manipulated by Jeffree Star and Shane Dawson
Okay.
into making Bye Sister. Like, she alleges that they fed her false information, and that they preyed on her trust and her loyalty to get her to do it.
Wow. So she's essentially saying that she was used as like a pawn in their own game.
Pretty much.
That's a huge accusation.
It was a bombshell.
Yeah.
It really was. And this time, the internet turned on Jeffree and Shane,
Oh, wow.
leading to like mass cancellations and more legal trouble for them.
Yeah.
So it was this whole other layer of like manipulation and betrayal, showing just how like complex and twisted these online relationships can get.
Yeah, it's a good reminder that even when we think we know like the whole story, there are so often just like hidden layers,
Right.
Unseen motivations, things happening behind the scenes that we are completely unaware of.
Exactly. And it makes you question, like, how much can we trust what we see online?
Right.
How do we form our own opinions when like the information is constantly shifting and changing? It's a challenge we all face in this like hyper-connected world.
Okay, so Tati's claiming she was manipulated. Jeffrey and Shane are facing backlash. The beauty community's in chaos yet again. Like, where does Tati go from here?
Well, after this second wave of drama, she takes another break from YouTube.
Okay.
This time it's a longer break, but this time though when she returns, it's with a different approach.
Okay.
It's a quieter tone and it's a real focus on rebuilding trust.
So Tati steps away from the spotlight again. Seems like a smart move after that second round of drama, right?
Yeah. Definitely a time to like regroup and reassess.
Yeah. So what does this hiatus look like for her? Is she completely off the grid?
Not totally. I mean, she's still like active on other platforms, engaging with her fans,
Okay.
sharing like little glimpses into her life here and there, but definitely more selective.
Okay.
More intentional, it seems like, about her online presence. It's almost like she's like stepping back from the influencer treadmill and sort of reclaiming her narrative on her own terms.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's like she's saying, I'm not going to let the algorithm dictate my life anymore.
Right, exactly.
But she does eventually return to YouTube, right?
She does, yep, in 2021.
Okay.
But it's a different Tati than the one we saw, before all the drama.
Okay.
There's like a humility there, a vulnerability. You shed the guru persona and she's just like being herself.
So what kind of content is she making in this new era? Like, is she still doing like the makeup tutorials and stuff?
She is, but it just feels like more personal.
Okay.
More like she's just like sharing her passion with friends, rather than like instructing an audience.
Yeah.
She's also like branching out a bit, talking about like wellness and lifestyle, and even like sharing some of her struggles with mental health, which I think is really important, and a lot of people connect with that.
Yeah, absolutely. It seems like she's kind of tapping into that authentic connection with her audience again, like that thing that really drew people to her in the first place.
Yeah.
How's the audience react? I mean, are people willing to forgive her after everything that's happened?
It's actually it's remarkable.
Okay.
A lot of her fans, they welcomed her back like with open arms.
Right.
They saw the growth, they saw her vulnerability, and they appreciated her honesty.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously she's lost some subscribers, but she still has a very dedicated following of millions of people.
Yeah.
So,
it's a testament, I think, to the power of owning your mistakes.
Yeah.
Right. Learning from them, showing like genuine change. It seems like she's rebuilding trust, not just with her audience, but with herself too.
Totally. And I think that's a key takeaway here, right? Like Tati's story, it's about more than just like YouTube drama. It's a reminder that like even in the most public of spaces, personal growth is possible.
Yeah.
It's about the courage to like step back, reevaluate, and return with a new perspective.
And it speaks volumes, I think, about like the complexities of online fame too.
Yeah.
Like how quickly it can build someone up and just like tear them down.
It's fickle.
Yeah. Tati's story's like a case study in the perils and the possibilities of navigating that digital landscape.
Absolutely. It highlights the constant tension between like the curated persona and the real person.
Right.
And it raises these important questions about like how we as consumers of this content, like how do we engage with those personas?
Yeah, it reminds us that there's always more to the story than what we see on the surface.
Yeah.
Right. And that the choices that we make online, both as creators and consumers, like they have real world consequences.
Absolutely. It really challenges us to think critically about the narratives that we're presented with online, right?
Yeah.
To ask ourselves, like, who benefits from this story?
Yeah.
Whose voices are being amplified? Whose voices are being silenced? It's a lot to think about.
It's a powerful reminder, I think, that we all have a role to play in shaping the culture of the internet.
Yeah.
Right. And that by choosing empathy, critical thinking, a willingness to listen, like we can create a more nuanced and compassionate online world.
Yeah, that's a great point. It's so easy to get caught up in like the drama, the outrage, the quick judgments.
Yeah.
But Tati's story reminds us to pause, to reflect, to consider the human stories behind the headlines.
Well, there you have it.
Yeah.
The Tati Westbrook saga. A story of ambition, betrayal, manipulation, and ultimately redemption. It's a deep dive into the world of YouTube beauty.
Right.
But it's also a reflection, I think, of the larger online landscape that we all navigate.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
And it leaves us with a lot to consider, the nature of online influence, the power of narratives, the importance of critical thinking, and really just the possibility of second chances in this digital age.
Absolutely. It's a lot to unpack, but it's definitely a story that stays with you.
So next time you find yourself, scrolling through your feed, just remember Tati's journey. Let it be a reminder to engage with the online world thoughtfully, critically, and with a healthy dose of compassion.